All right, what's up, y'all? We are live on YouTube, waiting for Instagram to connect. All right, bet. Look like Instagram just finally connected. So my signal is not the best out here in Cartagena, Colombia. I'm not as no shot at Cartagena, Colombia. I just think that the Airbnb that I'm in has a really bad signal because I've stayed in 4 different Airbnbs in Cartagena, Colombia so far, and my signal's always been great, but this one is pretty bad. So let me know. I'm gonna put these in. Let me know if I'm buffering on Instagram too much. My computer seems to be pretty straight, but it seems to be Instagram that's having a problem. But anyway, enough of that. Y'all know what it is out here in Cartagena, Colombia. Got a tech. I'm so used to saying tech testimony. So today we're doing a Q&A. I've not done just a straight up Q&A in a while. Out here in Colombia, I was gonna be outside tonight, but I was like, you know what? Let me stay inside. I have some work to do, but also I need to do a stream. And so here we are. Here we are. So a lot of y'all have submitted questions in already. So first off, let me know where everybody is tuning in from. Y'all know I'm in Colombia, but let me know where all of the rest of y'all are tuning in from. For everybody that's on Instagram, when you have questions, make sure you drop your questions in the chat. Excuse me, not the chat. That you drop your questions in the designated question area. So there's a drop down somewhere above my head. You'll click on it, and then it'll appear to where you can post your questions there. I'm not going to be able to keep up with your questions in the comment sections. I see somebody's from Montreal or Montrez. Is Montrez the same thing as Montreal? Is Montrez short for Montreal? All right, we got Atlanta, we got DC, we got Florida, Connecticut, New Jersey. All right, Brooklyn in the house, Florida. Yeah, y'all. So we got somebody also that's here from Bogota. Somebody's in Bogota right now, Bogota, Colombia. So we are, Bogota isn't close to Cartagena. We're still about I think a 2-hour flight or hour and a half flight from each other. But we're both here in Colombia. For those of y'all that know, okay, Venezuela, we got Venezuela in the house. Shouts out to all the Venezuelans. For those of y'all that don't know, fun fact about Venezuela, Venezuelans, and correct me if I'm wrong, Venezuelans are either number 1 or number 2 for most won Miss Americas in the world. So Venezuelans take a lot of pride on being beautiful people. And so anyway, that being said, so look, y'all, I'm gonna be answering y'all's questions. So make sure you have questions prepared, either about tech career stuff, either about September surge and the hiring opportunities that are about to explode in the tech industry. If you've done a boot camp, you have questions, you need assistance, whatever, I'm here to answer a few different questions for you. If you haven't done a boot camp, I'm here to give a little bit of guidance for you as to maybe what you should consider doing in tech. Of course, I'm going to recommend either QA or tech sales because those are the boot camps that Tech is New Black has. And we chose to have those specifically because of the opportunity in both of those fields. We have enough relationships with people that we could have boot camps for any specific thing in tech, but AI enhanced QA and AI enhanced tech sales are very popular, very in high demand, pay a lot of good money. It's a beautiful opportunity in both of those fields. Now, I'm gonna say this last thing, then we're gonna go ahead and get to y'all's questions. What if you don't have a business degree? Good question. I'm gonna come to that in a minute. Last thing I'm gonna say, for anybody that wants a personal one-on-one coaching, especially if you've done some type of boot camp or training, because if you haven't done any type of boot camp or training at all and you don't know anything of what's going on, I would recommend you just speak with my career advisors. But if you have done a boot camp, or let's say you're just educated, you feel like you're very educated, you're experienced when it comes to work, and you feel you don't need a boot camp, or if you've done a boot camp, either way, on YouTube and LinkedIn, y'all are going to click the drop down underneath this video. So that way you can book a one-on-one with me. I have a 30-minute one-on-one and 1-hour one-on-one. And tonight only, it's at 30% off for both of the one-on-ones. And for those of y'all that are on Instagram, if you want to book me for a private one-on-one, all you're going to need to do is comment tech coach. Comment tech coach or career coach if you don't know how to spell tech, which hopefully you know how to spell tech if you on one of these. But anyway, that being said, we're going to go ahead and hop into it. What's up? What's up, Woo TV? All right, cool. So first question I see over here, and then I'm going to get to the pre-submitted question. What if you don't have a business degree? So first off, you don't need any degree to get in the tech industry. The entire purpose of my platform is that I got in the tech industry without a degree. I still don't have a degree. I got in the industry without a degree, and I got in relatively, I don't want to say it was easy, but it was very simple. It definitely takes hard work getting in the industry, but the process is fairly simple. And I was kind of shocked as to how simple it was. Still was hard work, but I was shocked as to how simple it was. I got in the industry. For those of y'all that don't know me, I guess let me do a little recap. For those of y'all that don't know me, I've been in the tech industry now. It's coming close to 3 years. Wow, time flies. That's crazy. Feels like I just got in the industry still. I got in the tech industry 3 years ago. No degree, no experience. I did a tech boot camp. 8 weeks after finishing a boot camp, I started at my first tech company October 4th of 2021. October 4th, 2021 is when I started at my first tech company. They started me at $90,000. I job hopped, and I job hopped all my way to a over $500,000 total comp by my third job in tech. The reason why I was able to do that, all the companies that I job hopped to, let me explain this to everybody. I never reached out to any other companies that I job hopped to. Those companies reached out to me on LinkedIn because of my LinkedIn optimization and the way I was using LinkedIn and the training I got when it came to LinkedIn. And so that's one of the things that I really specialize in personally, is showing people when it comes to networking, when it comes to your LinkedIn, when it comes to your resume, when it comes to your interviewing. I crush it when it comes to those things. But of course, Tech is the New Black. We have boot camps to give you the education for certain roles in tech. But that being said, yeah, it's been a blessing. So yeah, you don't need a degree at all. You do not need a degree. Trust me. If I was here telling anybody they need to do a degree, I wouldn't do it, because colleges and high school and parents and everyone tells you need a degree. So I would not be another person adding to that conversation if that was the norm. The only reason I do this is because I know what I'm doing is not the norm, but it should be the norm. Last thing I'm going to say, then we're going to get back to the questions. I put up a post recently about how white Americans they're no longer even in the top 5 richest communities in America. And by the way, this isn't a shot at white people. This is just us speaking data, statistics, and facts. Because black people, we're still at the bottom. White people are not even in not even in the top 5 of the richest people in America. It's the Indian community, the Chinese, the Japanese, the Nigerian, and the Philippine community. Now, if you look at what all of those communities have in common, they are all either in the healthcare industry or they're in the tech industry. And the tech industry, and I love healthcare, shouts out to everyone that's in healthcare. But if we're talking about work-life balance, if we're talking about salary, if we're talking about hiring opportunity, and I have posts that I did on my page, if I could point these out to anybody, the tech industry is hiring more than the healthcare industry. Even today, it's hiring more than the tech healthcare industry. The tech industry on average pays more than the healthcare industry. You cannot find one job in healthcare, and that's at the highest level, where I can't point to you a job in tech that pays more than that at the highest level. The tech industry on average pays more, it hires more, and you work less hours. So my entire inspiration with my platform was realizing, like, yo, the communities that have now passed white Americans, they are in this industry. So the math makes sense to where it's like, ergo, if we start getting in this industry, we can raise ourselves up to where we're no longer the bottom of Americans. So that's the entire purpose of the platform. Now, again, I personally don't care what your skin color is. I love all people. I'm a black man. I'm proud to be black. So of course I'm going to have a proclivity towards working with my people and helping my people. But I also am a believer. So I love all people. I'm here to help everybody level up and raise up. So that's the entire purpose of my platform. So yeah, you don't need a degree. You don't need a degree. All right. Okay, Joshua, I see your comment. I'm gonna come back to that because I got something for that for you. All right, we're gonna get to these pre-submitted questions. I want to be respectful to people that sent their questions in early. Okay, cool. All right, most of your opportunities are only for the USA. I tried applying for your boot camp. It didn't get a response. I'm from Nigeria and a tech enthusiast. So do I need to be in the United States for my tech dream to come true? No, you don't. So our QA program is international. We have people that are currently working in tech right now that have done our QA program. and they live in various parts of the world. Some of them live in Dubai, some of them live in Chicago, some of them live in Europe, some of them live in the Middle East. I don't think we don't have any that were in Africa when they did our program, but that's because of the pricing of the program and the income level of most people that live in Africa. But if you filled out, just DM me, let me know when did you fill out the form, because my team and I have a very strict rule that within like 30 minutes to an hour of someone filling out a form, you should hear something back from someone on the team. Unfortunately, I'm kind of telling y'all too much, but I don't care. I'm a very transparent person. Unfortunately, we did have to let go one of our team members. We have 2 team members where it's their job to overlook that. We had to let one person go for some various reasons. So now we have one person, and maybe it's causing a bottleneck on her. I'll ask her to see, because you should have gotten someone to reach out to you. But DM me your email and your name, and I'll follow up with our team to see what's going on with that. But yes, we are for those that live internationally as well. Because QA, and let me explain why. So you can't do our tech sales program if you're not within the United States. The reason why is because tech sales is a customer-facing role. It's customer-facing, meaning that your company is going to expect you to have this be within the same time zone or very close to the same time zone that they are in, because it's a customer-facing role. You're going to need to be in meetings around a certain time of the day. The other reason why is because of a slight accent bias. When you're talking about sales, sometimes, in some cases, there can be an accent bias, and usually depending on where someone lives at, usually you might have a thicker accent. Now, again, that's not the only reason. One of the reasons is because of time zone. The second reason is because of accent bias. But the third reason, this is a bigger reason, is because since it's a customer-facing role, I'm speaking about tech sales, and we all know this. For those of y'all that don't know this, let me know in the chat. For those of y'all that live internationally, or maybe you're from a place that's not in North America, people that live in certain countries internationally have a lot of power outages, and they kind of siphon power. So like one region or one area will have the power for a part of the day or for 1 or 2 days in the week, and then the other region will get the power. And the same thing sometimes goes for Wi-Fi. So that's the third reason, is that sometimes there could be a slight inconsistency. And again, when you're in a customer-facing role like tech sales, your company needs you available during those appointed meetings that you're in with customers and clients. They cannot run the risk of losing $100,000, $200,000 deal because they hired someone that lived in a place that might have like a Wi-Fi outage or power outage because of the siphoning. That's reason number 3. Reason number 4. What's reason number 4? There's a fourth reason. Reason number 4 as to why companies can be in tech sales roles or customer facing roles, why they might not want to hire. Oh yeah, the fourth reason is, it kind of goes back to the third reason, is that in certain regions and countries, now this is usually a reason why tech companies in general prefer to hire within like their own region, is because depending on what country you're in, your country might not even approve of a specific tech company having like I don't know what the terminology is. Somebody in the comments or in the chat that's more technical than me, explain this for me, what I'm trying to explain. I'll give an example. I know people that live overseas. Like I know someone that lives in Ukraine, and I was in meetings with him while Ukraine was getting bombed, which I'm assuming it's still getting bombed. I don't know. But y'all know how the news only shows certain things. They only keep up with certain things. But anyway, I was in a meeting with him during the height of the beginning, at least, of everything in Ukraine. Because again, I got in tech October 2021. So he was a coworker of mine at Dialpad, which is my first tech company. Even though he was a coworker of mine, I want y'all to hear this very clearly. Since he lived in Ukraine and is Ukrainian, Ukraine has a law that you can't work for a American, like you have to work for a company that's in Ukraine. Now, peep game, if you're not working for a company, what's up, Jennifer? Thank you for that. I'm gonna address that. Peep game, Ukraine has a rule that you have to work for a company that's in Ukraine. Now, the question is, okay, how is my coworker able to work at Dialpad since Dialpad is an American company, even though he lived in Ukraine? The reason why is because in Ukraine, the only way you can work for a non-Ukraine company, you have to go through a Ukraine staffing company where technically he was contracted at Dialpad. So Dialpad wanted to hire people from within Ukraine because they needed people available within those time zones. So they had to go to a staffing company. So that way they technically were paying the Ukrainian staffing company. And then the Ukrainian staffing company was bringing people in from Ukraine. So again, y'all can see there's reason after reason after reason why sometimes it can be complicated. So it's not really that tech companies want to be biased. It's that sometimes it comes with complications. And many times the complications could be your own nation. Another reason, so Jennifer, shouts out to Jennifer Gaddis. She said, it can create security risk for the company as well. Exactly. That's another reason. I thought I was going to give y'all like 4 reasons. It's turned into like 6, 7 reasons. What's the name of that show? 13 Reasons. It's turning into 13 Reasons. Another reason on top of that. Now, this is one that a lot of people don't know about. Tech companies, and y'all know a lot of people keep saying like, oh, all these tech companies are about to fire U.S. employees and they're going to hire people that live in India for everything. No, they're not. They might do that for certain roles. They might do that for like a couple hundred people. But a reason why tech companies are not going to fire everybody and just go overseas, because keep in mind, let's say Apple pays out, I don't know, I'm going to throw out an arbitrary number. Payroll wise, Apple probably pays out maybe $2 billion, $3 billion a year in terms of payroll. Now, if they hired everybody that lives in India, their payroll will probably be cut down. Maybe their payroll will be like a total of $5 million a year. So why doesn't Apple do that? Well, and again, don't listen to the math. The math is just an example. I don't want anybody to fact check me on the math. The math is just an example. The reason why a lot of American tech companies, American-based tech companies don't mass hire within regions where it will be much more affordable for them is partially because of the huge, massive tax breaks that they get here in America and incentives that they get to hire from here within America. And so that's one of the reasons. I'm not trying to get political or get weird, because I'm not Republican or Democrat. I think both sides are goofy. I say that all the time. Both sides are goofy. Both sides have their pros and their cons. That being said, it's one of the reasons why, oftentimes people will find out that a tech company got like huge tax breaks and tax cuts. And people are like, oh my God, why did they get all those tax cuts? They're making all this money. Why is the government doing that? Well, it's because the government is thanking them. It's one of the ways they thank them for mass hiring from within our country, because it keeps money. So the government will give tax cuts to the tech company, but then it will tax the rest of us that work at the tech company. And it's better for the government to be able to tax 100,000 people that make 6 figures or 10 million people that make 6 figures than it is for them to tax just one company or 10 or 100 companies. So again, don't trust the math too much. I'm just kind of breaking it down a little bit. Yeah, Brother Lee said, is it easier for people from Canada? Yes, it is. It is. Now, again, I want to clarify. Someone says, so why are jobs going to India? No, I was saying the opposite. So jobs are going to India. I was explaining why no one has to worry about it being this massive thing about a bunch of jobs going to India. Like there's a crap ton of reasons why a lot of jobs are. And again, a lot are going to go to India, but it's not anything we have to worry about. The only thing we have to worry about is AI. As I said it before, you have to worry. Everyone. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you're a business owner. I don't care if you're a rapper. I don't care who you are. Everyone needs to be concerned with AI. But again, this is the greatest opportunity for us to become wealthy, because getting in the tech industry by itself was already a phenomenal opportunity. But now you add AI on top of that. There are very few AI experts in the world right now. Everyone that's in this stream, everyone that's watching it, and in the comments, each of you could become somewhat of an AI expert or AI generalist within the next year or so. And that will put you ahead of the curve and in really high demand. Anyway, I'm getting a little bit sidetracked. Let's get back to the other questions y'all said then. I'm gonna address a few of the comments. Somebody said, are you living in Colombia now? Are you still working as a sales engineer? Yes, I do live in Colombia. No, I'm no longer a sales engineer. I switched roles in the industry. All right, good stuff. What else? What else? Who else we got in here? Brianna says, I can't wait to break into tech. As a single mom, people always doubt me. I feel like the single mommy has been setting me back a little bit, but I know with determination and hard work. Yes. I don't know, Brianna, if you've seen any of my episodes with single moms that have been on the podcast or that have even been here in the tech testimony streams. I would say watch. It's actually my number one episode is with a single mom, where she broke into tech. She's a sales engineer. She's in the tech sales space. And she talked about how she didn't even, she came from healthcare. Going back to what I said, she came from the healthcare industry. She didn't even expect to make more money than she was making in healthcare. She started her first role in tech after the boot camp. She started making $135,000. And that was a year and almost 2 years ago, basically a year and a half ago. She makes way more than that now. And she's a single mother. Well, she's dating someone. She's dating a pretty cool dude, but she's technically a single mom. And one of the things she loved is how the work-life balance and how it allows her to have much more time with her son. So yeah, so you definitely could do it. If you haven't seen that episode yet, go to the Texas New Black YouTube and type in I forget what it's called. It's called From Healthcare to Sales Engineer, and I think 4 months or something like that. And just type in Tech is New Black. From healthcare to tech, or healthcare to sales engineer, and type in Tech is New Black, and it'll come up. Definitely worth watching. All right, let's get back to these other questions. All right, cool. But yeah, again, to reiterate, for the QA program that we have, it is something that you can do if you live overseas. Now, contact, once you speak to our career advisors, when you schedule a call, let our career advisors know where you live, so that way we can really make sure that we can help you get a job in the industry based on where you live at. You know, because we out here to help you, like straight up. So talk to them, tell them where you live at first, so that way they can check, make sure all that, and see like how we can help you and make sure that it's really a good solid fit for you. All right, cool. All right, so someone said, any knowledge of a boot camp? No, I don't. DM me that boot camp. So I'm not going to say the name out loud because for a couple reasons. One, I don't do free promo. And two, even the boot camps that I promote, I have to vet them thoroughly first. And I've said boot camps names out loud. And for some reason, somebody misheard me and thought I was approving of the boot camp or shouting the boot camp out. And then they went and signed up and came back and said, hey, Cyrus had a horrible experience with this boot camp you recommended. I'm like, what are you talking about? What boot camp? And they would say the name. And I'm like, I never recommended that boot camp. I've only said the name once or twice. And so I'm very cautious to not say a boot camp's name out loud if I haven't vetted them. So anyway, please DM this to me to remind me, so that way myself and my team can check them out and see if they're a good look. Because again, if it's a good look, I'm going to shout them out. I'm going to recommend them. I was thinking long-term in cloud engineering, but wanted to start in tech sales first. Yeah, both are phenomenal options. Both are phenomenal options, honestly. Both are in great demand. There are fewer people in cloud than are in tech sales, but tech sales hires more than cloud, but both have an incredibly longevity of career. The cloud industry both are growing like crazy. Because y'all know, for me, let me explain this really quickly. The reason why tech sales is constantly growing is because every time a new tech company pops up, they need salespeople. If you have a solution, you need tech salespeople to sell that solution. The same thing goes for cloud. You know, where the cloud, every new company that pops up, and I don't even talk about tech companies. There are old companies. I think of like a laundromat, where we think of a laundromat like, oh, that's such an old, outdated business. Well, guess what? What if that laundromat wants to start using automation tools? What if that laundromat wants to start storing their customer data on a cloud server? Because they're going to need to store it somewhere, because maybe they want to get better at marketing and they want to get better at having automations and tools to reach out to customers and clientele. Obviously, most laundromats don't do that, but laundromats, that people that are like revitalizing and enhancing laundromats are starting to do that. Well, guess what? Even that laundromat needs a cloud service. They need to go to a cloud provider, a cloud company, whether they just do that online and they're only paying $100, $200, $300 a month, or if it's a business that's larger and they need to pay out closer to $100,000 a month. Either way, cloud is great. Tech sales is great. Tech sales isn't going anywhere anytime soon when it comes to AI, because no one is going to want to be sold to by AI. Think about it logically. Now, are we okay with a customer service rep that's an AI? most of us will be like, okay, because customer service, you really just needed to answer basic questions. But a salesperson is different. A salesperson, you need to trust them and trust their humanity. You need to trust that they're honest. Versus an AI, if it's an AI that's selling for a company, you can never, like, there's no, it's not gonna, like, let's say a person is lying. Unless a person is a really good liar, you can hear the lack of confidence in their voice. And you could be like, nah, I'm not gonna buy your product. I'm gonna go to your competitor because you don't sound like you truly believe in your product. AI will never have that flaw or issue. It will always sound confident. And because of that, when we're talking about like businesses, business owners, they're not going to be sold to by AI. They probably will never want to be sold to by AI because of that human aspect or human component where they need to be able to trust and actually deal with the person and not an automation tool. So tech sales is not going anywhere for a ridiculously long time. I'm not going to say it never, but it's going to take humans. It'll have to be like Uber or Lyft, but with a longer timeline. Meaning that if you ask people back in 2005, 2006, hey, would you be willing to get in a car with a stranger that's not a taxi driver, it's just a regular person? They'd be like, man, that's crazy. But then a series of events took place in America to where people started gradually testing out Uber. It's going to be just like with self-driving cars, where 95% of people right now will probably say that they would not get in a self-driving car. They'd rather get in a car with a normal person. But fast forward in the future is going to be the opposite. Let me know in the comments, anybody that's seen that movie, I, Robot with Will Smith. Remember in the movie, everyone's cars were self-driving. Remember the part in the movie where he took over the steering wheel and started driving for himself. And his police captain was like, wait, you drove manual? Like, they thought he was crazy. They were like, that's why an accident happened. And so let me know if y'all know that movie. But eventually it's going to be like that in the future. Eventually, to where people are going to be like, yo, you driving? That's kind of risky. You know, again, that's where the world's going to go. This stuff, Trey said, what's up, Cyrus? I seen the movie. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love that movie. It was a good movie. That was pre-Chris Rock slap Will Smith. Oh, wow. All right, cool. Let's get to these other questions. All right. And again, just to reset everybody, because I'm not going to be able to get to everyone's questions. I'm going to try to get to as many as I can. I'm not going to be on here too much longer. I'm trying to get to as many questions as I can. Anyone that wants to book me for a one-on-one, a lot of y'all have been asking me for, honestly, months and months. I stopped doing one-on-ones. For everyone that wants to book me for a one-on-one, I do have a window of one-on-ones that you're able to book with me for private career coaching. Again, whether you've done a boot camp and because a lot of y'all, y'all might have done some other boot camp or something, and you're like, hey, Cyrus, I'm having some issues, whatever. It's like, I have never spoken to somebody, boot camp, college, or no experience. I've never spoken with a person where I wasn't able to find at least 4 to 5 reasons why they were struggling to get interviews or why they were struggling to crush those interviews. Most people's problem is that they're not able to get interviews. And so versus it's really, anyway, I'm gonna get off that. Anyway, if you're on Instagram and if everybody's on Instagram and you want a career coaching session with me, either 30 minutes or 1 hour, comment career coach or tech coach, whichever one is easier for you to spell. For those of y'all that are on YouTube and LinkedIn, you're not going to comment that. You're just going to click the drop down to look at the description of this stream, and you'll see the link there to schedule. And now for anyone who you feel like you need everything top to bottom, like you're like, yo, you don't have any education, you don't really know anything about this tech industry stuff, you're trying to figure stuff out, then I would recommend for you to speak with our career advisors to determine which one of our boot camps is best for you, where you get everything top to bottom. Yeah, good stuff. Somebody said cloud security isn't hard to break into, but it isn't entry level. Perfect comment. Yeah, when you're truly qualified for cloud, it usually, I'm not gonna say it's never, it's usually not hard to break into. But again, it's not an entry level thing. The closest to entry level in cloud, I think, might be Linux. I think. Anyway, so let's get back to it. All right, so I'll get back to the question. Here we go. Good stuff. Any concrete advice? I was gonna say some type of joke about construction, but I couldn't think of a joke fast enough. That wouldn't have sounded like a dad joke. No, so that's kind of too vague. I could be on here for 4 hours giving advice. So I need like a more specific question. You know what? I'll actually give some concrete advice based off of that question. For those of y'all, when you're in an interview and y'all know when interviewers ask the question, okay, basically when they tell you, okay, what questions do you have for us? One of the mistakes people make tends to be the mistake that this person made with the question. And I'm not insulting you, but it's a mistake. It is what it is, though. Is that sometimes they'll say things like, oh, like, you know, what's your favorite thing about the company? Or you know, they'll say, oh, or the worst thing is to say, okay, I don't have any questions at all. Or to ask some vague question like, oh, can you tell me what people's experience is like? Something vague. What you want to do before an interview, you want to have a question that's about the company, and you want to at least have two questions, at least two. One of the questions, at least one of them, should be a question about the company, but not a vague question. It should be something along the lines of, yeah, you know, I was doing some research on the company, and I saw that there was recently a large round of funding for the company, or I saw recently the company did XYZ. Since that happened, is there more hiring expected to happen for this role and others? Because if there are, I definitely would love to, once I'm in the company, I'll be interested to see if the company has any internal referrals. You can steal that question if you want to. That's just one off the top of my head. But ultimately what I'm saying is you want to do some research on the company, on something that happened recently within the company that the HR person will probably know about, and ask them a detailed question about it that is meant to show that you're educated on the company. It's meant to show that you're not just looking for a job, even if you are, but it makes the recruiter, the hiring manager, it makes them feel like, ooh, you really have done research on the company. You're not just here just to get a job. Then you want one of the other questions to be specific to the role in tech. So you want to say something like let's say someone's in tech sales, for example. Let's say you're in tech sales. You know, you might want to ask a question like let's say you are an account executive in tech sales. You might want to ask a question like, okay, cool. So as an account executive, is it also expected for me to demo the product, or am I going to be with a team of sales engineers? Or let's say you're an SDR, BDR. You might want to ask the question like, hey, you know, as an appointment setter, or as a SDR, how many on each team, how many of us are supporting account executives? Like how many account executives, blah, blah, blah. I'll be honest, I'm not gonna say don't ask this question, but some questions that are still kind of vague are questions like, what's my quota? Or how many calls am I meant to make? Now, again, ask those questions, but those questions are not very unique. They're kind of general questions that everyone asks. So you want to find a question about the company, a question about the role, but also a question specific to the recruiter or hiring manager. Now, this one can be more personal. This could be something you saw on their LinkedIn. Like let's say they snowboard, they got like pictures of them with a snowboard on their LinkedIn. You know, you might want to say something like, yo, I saw you got these pictures of you with a snowboard. That's pretty cool. Are you good at snowboarding? You know, okay, cool. Yo, where all have you snowboarded at before? Oh, I've been to Park City in Utah. I've snowboarded there. Like you want to make it something to where now they connect with you. Once they have that connection point, now they're like, wow, like you raise their dopamine levels in the interview. You can get the interviewer talking about stuff that ain't got nothing to do with the job. They're like, oh, yeah. Oh, you snowboarded there? Yeah, me and my friends went there. Oh, we got a crazy story. And then, you know, you gas them up like, what happened? And what happened? And what else? Oh, my God, that's crazy. You do that in the interview, man, they like you so much. They like you so much. And they're like, yo, they're in love with you at that point. And at that point, they're like, oh, okay, oh man, we got to get to the interview. All right, let me ask you these questions, whatever. But at that point, they like you so much. Now, you know, they're just kind of eating out of your hand at that point. So you want to ask a question again about the company. You want to ask a question about the role, and you want to ask a question about the recruiter, hiring manager, whoever you talk to. So every round of interview, whoever you're interviewing with, I'm giving y'all some sauce right now. Anyway, it is what it is. That's the purpose of this stream. Every round of interview, let's say you do 3 rounds or 4 rounds of interviews, and each of them are with a different person. You want to do the same thing with each person. And also do this. Y'all know how whenever you do an interview, and this is another typical thing people do. Oftentimes, after an interview, sometimes people don't even message the recruiter or thank them at all. Now that's horrible if you don't at least say something to them after the interview. But a generic thing is still better than nothing. But a generic thing is people saying, "Hey, thank you for interviewing me. I enjoyed the interview. I'm looking forward to hearing back." Again, that's better than nothing, but it's still pretty general. It's still pretty cliche. What you want to do, you want to try to double down on something y'all talked about in the interview. So you want to, like that snowboarding example, you want to double down and say, "Yo, XYZ, hey, I looked up the place that you mentioned that you went snowboarding at. Yo, it looks amazing. Me and my buddies or me and my boo are probably going to book to go there sometime in the future. Thank you for the suggestion. And I look forward to the next interview." Because you remind them of a beautiful moment that happened in the interview. It's like a date. It's like, when a date is over, the perfect dates are dates where not only was it a good date, but then you kind of recap something after the date. You tell the girl, you be like, you don't just say like, "Yo, I enjoyed my time with you. That was cool." That's kind of generic. You want to say something. I'm turning to like some relationship advice now, but you want to say something to where it's like you remind her of a beautiful moment. And then you want to double down on that. You want to be like, "Yo, it was so incredible dancing with you. I'm not going to lie. I was feeling the chemistry. I had to kind of back up a little bit, but dang, next time we're going to go to this spot and I'm going to see how you could dance at a Caribbean spot versus Afro beats or versus a reggaeton spot." Anyway, I'm using an analogy, a dating analogy to tie it in because recruiting, interviewing it's dating. It's a relationship in a sense where you're getting to know the person. You want them to fall in love with you. You want them to like you and see you as competent. Same thing like with a date. The person wants to know, okay, do I like you and are you competent? Because you could like somebody but still be like, dang, they an idiot though. Or they ain't got no morals. Like, I like them, but they really not it. And then you can find someone that you're like, "Yo, you're really it. Like you on paper, you have everything. But man, I don't really like you like that." It's the same thing with recruiters, hiring managers, interviewers. You want them to like you. And honestly, I'm gonna be real, just like a dating relationship. Let me know in the comments if y'all agree or disagree. Let me know in the chat. Isn't it more important that you like someone, even if they technically don't check every box, but you like them? That matters more than them checking every box. Versus, let's see, you can meet a person that checks every single box, top to bottom, but you like this other person more though, and you like, I don't know, it's just something that they do for me. Now, of course, that's an immature mindset. That's not a proper way to think. Nevertheless, as humans, that's how we are. Recruiters and hiring managers are the exact same way. So that's why you want to harp on them actually liking you. Now, you don't want to go like do too much and like over laugh at their jokes or make it obvious, because then you'll look nervous and weird. Again, think like a date. You want to be likable, but you don't want to come off like you're trying to make them like you. Anyway, I'm heavy on this point right now. I could spend 3 hours just breaking down interview tip after interview tip after interview tip after interview tip and just really kill it. But we got other questions we got to get to. But hopefully y'all are enjoying this. Hopefully y'all appreciate this free game. Yeah. Anyway, so let's get back to it. But again, that was the answer to the question of someone saying any concrete advice. It's like, anyway, so oh yeah. So the question someone said was thinking long term to get in cloud engineering, but wanted to start in tech sales first. Yeah, I think that's a very great, very, very great decision. This is my suggestion. I would suggest, of course, doing a tech sales program, unless you have extensive sales experience, extensive sales history. And I mean real sales, not like cliche sales, like, "Oh, I was selling some shoes." You know what I mean? Like real sales. If you have like extensive history in sales and you have some knowledge, some high level understanding of tech sales, then I would say to schedule a call with me. If you don't have any of that, then I would say instead do a tech sales bootcamp. Of course, I would recommend Tech is New Black's program, because our tech sales program, you actually get paid while you're doing the program. And yes, y'all heard that correct. If you qualify for that. If you don't, then you don't pay anything until after we help you land a job in tech. And then even if you get laid off or you get fired, your payments pause, and we wait until we help you land another job in tech. So whatever the reason is, again, y'all know my heart, my goal is to make sure y'all are good, y'all are straight. all that good stuff. Of course, I got payroll, I got team, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, the way our program is set up is that if you lose your job for any reason, we help you land another one, and then you finish your payments later. Or we have the option, depending on your background and experience, we have an option to where you can be paid while you're doing the program. Either way, both are good options. So I would recommend doing a tech sales program. But now this is really why I bring it up. I'm bringing it up to do a shameless plug. I bring it up because of this. Peep game. You do a tech sales program. We help you get in tech sales role, but you get in at a cloud company. So now you're selling a cloud solution. You're doing tech sales with a cloud solution. So your understanding of cloud, you will already understand it on such an intimate level because you'll be selling it. You will be a product. You will be a SME, a subject matter expert. My brain. I've been learning Spanish, so my brain is kind of like with words and tech words and everything is kind of all over the place right now. But anyway, you will be a subject matter expert when it comes to that. But so then when you do a cloud program, and of course we will recommend some to you as well. When you do a cloud program, then now it'll be crazy easy for you to get in the industry because you will understand the cloud, which you're learning in the cloud bootcamp, more and faster because you were selling it already. And two, you'll get hired faster than anyone else because when you're in interviews, and again, our program will coach you on interviews overall, whether you do the cloud bootcamp or whatever. When you're in interviews and the recruiters and hiring managers ask you, okay, we see you worked in tech sales, but how does that? And we see you did a cloud bootcamp. That seems really great. What is your experience when it comes to cloud? You can mention, oh, I was selling cloud for a year or 2 years. Like I understand the cloud space beyond just the boot camp. I understand the solution. I understand the value of it to companies. I'm telling you. So I love how you're thinking. So yeah, tech sales, get in at a cloud, selling cloud, and then now it'll be like you just kind of stepping right into the role. It'll be incredible. Brianna says, woo, child, yes, I love that these are skills you can use in other aspects of your life. Lisa G says, my niece is listening to this as well. She is a teenager. Hey, what's up, Lisa? I hope you're doing good. Yo, shouts out to you for having her listen to this. Hey, y'all, this is really what it's all about. A lot of us that are in our 20s and 30s and 40s and some 50s that are like, yo, trying to get in tech, or I'm in tech, I'm trying to scale further, whatever. It's like, yo, once we're in tech, or even if you're a person that's still pursuing, yo, we need to put our youth on game to this industry, because like we need to put them on game, because I can't tell y'all the number of athletes, there are people that are popular that y'all know that are like C-list, D-list celebrities that are in my DMs that follow me, and I'm always like, why is this celebrity following me? I'm just talking about tech. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I really be confused at why do these celebrities be following me, But then I realized, oh wow, after they DM me, they're kind of embarrassed sometimes to admit that they're looking to get in the tech industry. So they'll kind of like ask a couple questions, try to fill it out, or sometimes they'll be interested in it for their son or daughter, or their grandson or granddaughter, niece or nephew. It's very common. Athletes are the number one. Athletes and artists are number one. NBA, like people that play in the NBA, and I'm not talking about Dwayne Wade or somebody like that. Like somebody who's clearly, unless they just destroy their lives, they're clearly gonna be super rich all their life. I'm talking about athletes where some of y'all know them, but they were like, probably play like 1 minute a game or something like that. They were oftentimes on the bench, but still play for the NFL, play for the NBA. A lot of them have been in my DMs, especially we're talking, what is it called? G League, D League. I'm not a huge sports person. I know enough because I'm a man and certain things I'm supposed to know, but anyway, it's athletes, all types of people that have been in my DMs, and I love it. I love to see that. I say that to say they realize, hey, this sport, this rapping, this singing thing, yeah, I've made a bunch of money, but it's in a short period of time. I need something long term. Yeah, they're not gonna have a $5 million 4-year contract working in tech. I mean, they could, depending on depending on what company they get at, like a NVIDIA and the equity they get, or really more so they could if they invest in some startups. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Either way, we need to have our youth, our younger people, start to look more to this industry. We definitely need to do that. Shouts out to I've actually had two people. I've had two people on Tech is New Black podcast. One of them was invited, not invited. I forget what the term is. She got a scholarship to play in the WNBA, or not a scholarship. Basically, she was going down a path to play in the WNBA, but she chose the tech industry instead of it because she literally looked up the numbers and was like, "Well, I'll make more money in tech." Another person actually played for the NBA. Oh, I actually had an NFL player on my podcast. Shouts out to Dozier Izima. That's my homeboy, Dozie, and we go back. Dozie, he played for the NFL, and he's in the tech industry, and he loves it so much more. And then I had someone who else on my podcast where he played in the NBA, or he played in a league that's a subsidiary of the NBA. It's technically the NBA, but some people are like, oh, it's not the NBA, but it is. Anyway, how do you like Colombia? Seems like a beautiful country. Colombia is lovely. Lovely. I've been going back and forth between Cartagena and Medellin. So let me tell y'all this. Part of the reason why I live here, I have a few reasons why I live here, and this correlates back to tech. There are a lot of people in Colombia that work in tech. Most of the expats is what they're called, a person that basically has left their country. They're still kind of working in their country. Like they didn't have to flee their country, but they kind of chose to leave their country. Most of the expats that I've met are in the tech industry. And so a lot of them still work at their companies, but live out here, or they live in Dominican Republic, or they live in Cabo. Like shouts out to Jenny, who was in the comments earlier. She lives in Cabo, or lived in Cabo, lived in Cabo. She invited me out there a couple times. I literally hit her up last week because I was considering going to Cabo to link up with her and her husband, but she said that they were leaving. So anyway, that being said, it's beautiful because I'm going to make a post about this pretty soon, but you have to keep in mind, let's say you're only making $120,000 a year. Let's say you're only making $120,000 in tech. Out here, that's the equivalent, like spending wise, that's the equivalent of you making like $500,000. That's the equivalent of you making over $500,000 a year. So it's like, it just makes sense. It goes much further when it comes to that. The other thing is that is being able to buy out here. So another part of the reason I'm looking to invest, because even though I make good money, I'm blessed. Come on, like to buy like real estate in the United States, like to have investment properties, it's like the process is long, and inflation. It doesn't matter how much money you have right now, unless, in my opinion, unless you're making at least like 5 to 10 million a year. And again, this is my opinion, no disrespect to anybody. Unless you're making like 5 to 10 million a year, I don't really think like buying. I mean, and I get it. You can get loans from the bank. You could do all of that stuff. I get that whole process, but I just want to just buy stuff. I want to buy. I don't want to have to go through no bank and blah, blah, blah. I just want to be able to, boom, I bought that junk. It's mine. That's it. So now I'm only making profit off of it, but also to do it in a place that's like a tourist place, that's getting more popular, that's extremely safe. It's crazy safe out here. Even the parts out here that look really sketchy are safe. Now, I want to be very clear. I was out last night, and I was in this area that's very safe. But while I was out, it was like, it turned into a ghost town because I was at this restaurant. I was at this spot till it got really late. I finally was leaving, but I actually was walking to an ATM because they didn't take card where I was at. So they trusted my word. I was walking to an ATM. I want y'all to hear this. I'm walking to an ATM. I see two working girls, prostitutes, basically. I see two prostitute girls. They see me, hola papi, ¿cómo estás? You know, tu nombre papi, all that, whatever. And I'm like, hey, can y'all help me find an ATM? They don't call it ATM, they call it something else. I'm like, blah, 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 ATM, whatever. And they're like, oh, papi, like, and they're saying it in English, but they're basically saying like, yo, you need to put your watch up. You need to put your chain up. They're like, yo, it's safe here during the day. They're like, but at this time of night, people are only hanging out to try to rob you. And when I tell you, they started walking me towards an ATM that was down a strip. There was one random dude who was just walking regular toward, like, the girls grabbed me and was like, I forget what the word is in Spanish, but basically like, no, we need to turn around. And I was like, ¿por qué? Like, gay, like, why are we turning around? I gotta get to the ATM. And the girls are like, yo, that person will probably stab you or do something to you. So I go like this, I beat the brace off them, like, hey, I ain't no punk. Like, I'm with it. If something pop off, I'm with it. But the girls are like, nah, nah, you just don't even do it. Just don't even do it. So I just walking off. A taxi cab came up. I jumped in the taxi cab and he took me to an ATM and brought me back. Blah, blah. Anyway, so random story. So anyway, it's very safe out here, but it also there are also certain places where it's like, yo, you just don't be there when when it's dark. Like when it's like 3, 4, you just don't be out there. And so I need to keep remind myself, just because I'm about it, don't mean I need to prove I'm about it. Because this stream probably wouldn't be happening right now. I probably have a whole story about me being in a hospital being cut up. Anyway, but that being said, it's a lot of Americans that are out in these areas, especially Medellin, especially Cartagena, especially Bogota, which somebody in the chat said that they live in Bogota right now. So anyway, that being said, so there's a few reasons why I'm out here. It's beautiful, it's lovely, the people are lovely, the culture is beautiful. I'm excited to learn Spanish, even though tech is going to remove the need for anybody to learn a language in about a year or two, but it is what it is. Anyway, back to the questions. One moment, y'all. Actually, I'm supposed to be in a meeting with somebody. One of my friends lives in Bali, and because he's in Bali, we're supposed to have a meeting at 10:45 my time, but it's yes. So I didn't realize this. I thought it was at 10:45 or 11:45 in the morning. 1 second, y'all. I thought our meeting was in the morning. Does anybody else do that? Like when you type in, you got people around you, something just start like speaking out loud. Anyway, speaking out loud. Y'all know what I mean. Anyway, I follow another YouTuber that have updated that Americans are getting robbed and unalived. Be careful out there. Yeah, I believe that's true. Now, again, I move a certain way. There's sometimes where I definitely put myself in some goofy scenarios and situations. But after last night and after the reality of seeing Colombians be like, yo, nah, don't go down that street. Something might really happen to you. I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me not play around out here. But again, it's a beautiful place, beautiful people, all that. Anyway, let's get back to the questions. I would tell you, Medellin is definitely even safer than Cartagena. Medellin is incredibly beautiful, incredibly safe. Again, stuff happens everywhere. It doesn't matter where you're at. Any part of the world, something could happen to you. Even if you're in Dubai. And Dubai is way safer than America. But even if you're in Dubai, something could happen to you. So you got to be careful. All right, cool. You mentioned accent bias for tech sales roles. Do you think that would be an issue for me relocating or coming from the UK? No, not at all. Not at all. Now, again, the accent bias, I want to be clear. I don't want that to be exaggerated. Like that's like just the worst thing ever. It's more so accent bias if your accent is so thick that it's hard for people to understand you. Because again, if you're talking about tech sales, communication is key. Like people understanding what you're saying and understanding your tone behind what you're saying is vital, incredibly vital. But with just an accent in general, no, many times an accent can add flavor. Where people, they hop on a call, they're like, oh, where are you from? They want to have conversation with you, even if they're a customer or prospect. So no, you're totally fine. An accent itself is fine. I should have, let me clarify. It's the thickness of the accent. And if you're not very articulate in the English language because of that accent. All right, cool. Can you give an insight on your experience in RPA so far? Can you work in another country with U.S. tech companies? Yes, you can. So when it comes to being an expat, with some companies, depending on the company you're at, depending on their regulations and their rules, with some companies, you do have to hide that you're an expat. Now, there are different things you can use. There's different tools. What is it called? Somebody let me know in the chat. I forget what it's called, but it's something that you can use where it'll make it seem as if your computer and your location is still at your home in the US. But there are different things you can use that can help with that. But another thing to do, I would say, my suggestion would be, once you get in tech, don't try to be an expat with your first company. Wait at least to your second or third company, but really talk to the managers in the, like, before you accept the role, let them know, say, hey, look, I'm expecting to move to South America. I'm expecting to move to Canada or whatever. Let them know. Because I know people that live in the Philippines that work in US companies right now. Like, I know people that do that. And again, they're in non-customer facing roles, but I know people who do that. So usually you want to communicate that with your company. You don't want to have to hide it from your company. But if you're at a company, you really don't want to leave the company. You love the company, you love the pay, you love the benefits, but you really want to leave the country. Then yeah, you want to leverage a VPN. And I know there's some other tools as well to really kind of help you hide it. Yeah, my experience in RPA. RPA is incredible. It definitely gives me a lot more freedom than what I had before. Let me tell y'all this. I'm going to be very clear. I want to be sensitive to this. DM me if you or anyone in particular. So again, I want to be, let me not confuse anybody. RPA is a great field to get into. It's phenomenal. It pays well, gives you good flexibility, good freedom, all of that good stuff. Trey says, sorry, got to run. I'll reach out to you soon. Again, I'm in Atlanta. Stay safe, bro. I appreciate that, Trey. Are y'all, and I'm actually about to wrap up in a minute too. I'm going to get one or two more questions that I'm going to have to wrap up. And again, just everybody that is about to hop off, I know it's late depending on where you're at. Again, for everybody who's been asking to schedule me for a one-on-one, so I can specifically talk about you and your situation, your LinkedIn, your resume, your cover letter, your interviewing, your networking, so on and so forth. Then if you're on LinkedIn and YouTube, there's a description down below. It's 30% off right now, whether you want to book me for a 30-minute or an hour. Either way, it's 30% off right now. And it goes back to regular pricing tomorrow. For those of y'all that are on Instagram, you're just going to comment tech coach or career coach, either tech coach or career coach, and that'll help you out. Did you get new certs for your new role? Yes, I did. Not really. Yes, but no. I did, but I have to kind of reiterate this. Certifications don't impress recruiters and hiring managers. Like, no one's going to be like, oh, you have a certification in this thing, unless we're talking certain roles like project management where you have to have your PMP. Like, yeah, there's certain things you need, but a certification alone is not the thing that really attracts them. Because again, the applicant tracking system, it's good to mention your qualifications and skills and maybe a certification so that the applicant tracking system, which is something I've talked about before, the applicant tracking system can register you and you can be ranked high and get it to be a higher probability for an interview. And it's cool to mention it during an interview, but it's not like a flex type of thing. So anyway, Michael A, little late chiming in, but here, what's up, Michael? All right, good stuff. So I'm gonna get to probably one more question. We're gonna have to wrap it up. Somebody said, looking for a Colombian wife. Y'all know what I'm gonna do. Let me know if y'all think I should do this. I'm thinking about making a couple videos about what it's actually like living out here in Colombia, because the passport bros stuff, it's definitely a thing. It's definitely a thing. But someone who has lived in America, because I want to be clear, usually the passport, this is the only comment I'm gonna make about this. I could talk about this all night, but we talk about tech. But I'm gonna say this. Usually passport bros that come out here, they're usually guys that either don't have a lot of money in the US, or they're guys who have money, but they're kind of socially awkward, or they don't really know how to like approach the hot girls. Versus here, the average girl everywhere is very attractive here. And the women here in South America, they care a lot about working out, keeping themselves together. That being said, the passport bros thing, it's not really, it's what people think it is. But I'll say this. This is the only comment I'm going to make on this. I'll do a live in the future. I might do a whole video in the future where I will tell everybody what it's really like out here. But also, there's a thing people don't really talk about. I'm gonna say this. This is gonna sound crazy. There are way more prostitutes in America than here. It's just 99% of people don't know how many girls are prostitutes. But as a guy, once you start making a certain amount of money, and it really doesn't have to be a ridiculous amount of money. Once you start making a certain amount of money, you quickly realize how many normal girls in America are actually prostitutes. I'm gonna tell y'all this story real quick. This is actually crazy. I'm gonna tell y'all this quick story, and it's gonna be very short. I knew a girl. This actually broke my heart. Broke my heart. I can't say that. I'll say this. I unfollowed her and I made her unfollow me. I've known her for over 10 years. I'll say it like this. I'll say it very simple. I've known her for over 10 years. When I met her, she was basically on the verge of marrying this guy, and she like was wifey top to bottom. Like, I thought he was so stupid for not marrying her. And I actually was, it's so weird. I was rooming with them because we were all coworkers at the time. And I was the only person with a car, and I didn't have my own place. So they had an extra room. So I was rooming with them the whole time. I had the biggest crush on her, the biggest crush. But of course, I never overstepped the boundaries because I was cool with him. I got cool with him. But when I met them, I didn't want to get cool with him because I liked her so much. We got to know each other, years go by. I don't see her for years. She pops back up on my radar, like on social media. Like I thought, I was like, yo, I thought it was a sign from God. I'm like, oh my God, like what? I'm thinking like, yo, we about to get married. It's incredible. Because again, y'all, she was such quality wifey. She's intelligent. She's hardworking. She's like compassionate. She's fun. She's everything. Keeps herself looking good. Because 10 years later, well, actually now at this point, it's 12 years later, 12, 13 years later, she basically looks the exact same. Like, I'm like, man, she's been taking care of herself. Man, when I tell y'all, we went out and she kept mentioning her finances. She kept mentioning like, yeah, I'm trying to figure out some of these bills. And fellas, y'all will notice something when you start making a little bit more money, you go out with women. And ladies, maybe y'all will notice the same thing. I can only speak as a guy. But you will start to notice that sometimes, and I promise I say this in a way where it really broke my heart. I'm laughing, but it really broke my heart. But you'll start to notice that you'll go out with people. I'm gonna say people, could be men or women. I can only speak about women. You'll start to notice that they'll bring up their financial problems a lot. And you know, now I've went out with enough women that I know when it's a woman who basically she's trying to plant seeds for me to be like, oh, I'll pay your bills, I'll take care of you, you know. And I've done that. In my last relationship, I took care of everything for her. She definitely deserved it and then some. And when I've dated women and I've helped them out with certain things, but there's a difference between, you know, you meeting a person. It's a difference between you meeting them and them the first date, second date. They're like, oh, I'm trying to figure out, I'm gonna pay these bills. It's like, okay, you're being very obvious right now without trying to be obvious. Or they'll say things like, yeah, you know, I just really like a provider, man. A man that can provide. It's like, okay, just tell me you want me to pay for stuff. But I'm gonna tell y'all, a lot of, I'm gonna just finish this story. She basically, long story short, she solicited herself to me. And she solicited herself and was like, yeah, you know, we can do this and this and this tonight, but I can only do it if, and this isn't exactly how she said it. She basically was like, I want to do this, I want to do that, but honestly, I'm so stressed because of my bills. I don't know, like, I don't want this to come off weird or anything. Oh, I'm gonna tell her morning. She said, I don't want this to come off weird or anything, but, oh, let me tell him, please. She said, I don't want this to come off weird or anything. She was like, but, I mean, if you can just kind of like help me with a little something, if you just kind of help me with something, like I think it'll like lower my stress levels. And y'all, that jump broke my heart. Needless to say, we ain't do nothing. And it was like, it broke my heart so bad. I had to like unfollow her and like force her to unfollow me. And it wasn't because I was offended that she asked me. And it wasn't because I was like laughing at her and mocking her because she was in a bad financial situation. It was more so my heart was broken for seeing who she's become. Where I was like, dang, you used to be this girl. And she was with a broke dude. Like they were broke and they were starting to get some money together. Like I watched them and she's very smart. But it broke my heart so bad. But when I tell you, that's one example. When I tell y'all, it's endless. So when we talk about Colombia and passport bros, the only difference between passport bros here in Colombia versus guys with money and that have like some type of status or clout or swag is that guys who make average money or a little bit of money come out here so they can get the same experience that guys with a lot of money in America already get. So when I tell you, it's way more prostitutes in the US than here. It's just, it's undercover, underground. I could talk about how Miami, y'all know Vegas, those cities, a huge Dubai, those cities, a huge part of their finances comes from the prostitution that's happening there. And I'm talking about corporate level all the way down to street level. It's people just don't see it as guys. You usually don't see it until you start making a certain amount. And then certain women start coming around you. And then you start to realize they call it being a provider, but it's like, no, it's prostitution. Yeah, it's prostitution. You know, and again, no shame to anybody for whatever you do. That's between you, your conscience, and God at the end of the day. Anyway, I got way sidetracked. This one went from somebody said facts, it be pimp rings. Yeah, y'all, it's really crazy. I'm gonna tell y'all 90% of the social media baddies that y'all see, man, it's crazy. Cause ain't none of them ever follow me until they saw in my bio over $500,000 in tech. It's like, it's very interesting. Very interesting. And again, I want to be clear. All of those IG baddies. Oh, this is the last thing I'm gonna say about Colombia. The other thing that's surprising, a lot of people don't know. Most of the girls out here are not prostitutes. Most of the girls, I'm gonna say this for the fellas. If you become an expat, don't come out here seeing a beautiful, girl and you thinking like, oh, I'm gonna throw my money in her face. Most girls out here, they actually, when they realize you're not from here, they look at you weird. They're like, what are you here for? Are you here just to get like some quick like play from a girl for some money? Because the average girls out here usually look at you kind of weird. Like they basically don't want to deal with you. Some of them do, like some of them because their mindset is different here. Some of their mindsets are different. So where some of them are like, okay, yeah, you're sleeping with other women, you're paying for women on the side. That's cool as long as we're dating and you treat me good. But I'm telling you, it's just different. It's not how people think it is. Most of the women out here have incredible morals and they're not on that type of stuff. So that's why I say the passport bro movement is so blown out of proportion. Because I'll be honest, money wise, it's easier to impress an American girl with your money than it is here. Way easier, much easier. Here, it's reasons. I don't have time to break it down. I've only been here for a few weeks. So I don't want to act like I'm an expert, but I'm telling y'all, it's not fully what people say. And America is not squeaky clean how they try to make it seem. America is much worse than Colombia when it comes to it, significantly worse. And also in America, just like Colombia, how they're out in the open with it. Like I could go to a bar and I could leave the bar and it'll I'm not exaggerating. It'll be 150 girls, 200, 300 women that look like a girl you would take on a date. And then you realize, oh, you're trying to talk to me because you're a working girl. I'm telling y'all, it's the same way in cities like Miami, Vegas, certain parts of New York, certain parts of LA, Dubai. The list goes, it's the same way in those places. It's just the difference is that, I swear this is the last example I'm going to give. The difference is that, I'll put it this way. Working girls out here when they realize a man is from here, they don't want to talk to him because in their mind, they're like, you're a broke boy. You're a broke boy. Don't talk to me. Like they'll talk to him, they'll be kind, but it's like they're not gonna date or they're not gonna do any favors for that guy. But when they realize, when they think a guy isn't from here, automatically they're like, ooh, he has more money, so I want to talk to him. It's very similar. And you leave, you know, you in Miami, you in Atlanta, you in certain places, and you pull up with a certain car. The regular dudes that approach them, the girls will be like, oh no, I'm good. But then they see you, it's the exact same thing. And again, I want to be very clear. I'm not coming for women at all. I'm not even coming for the prostituting girls. I'm not coming for women in general. I'm just explaining how things in certain regions, certain places, and certain types of women and certain types of men can operate, and how it's actually the same thing in America. It's just most guys don't see it unless they get to a certain space and place. So rephrase that as some American girls, Cyrus. Some of us, yeah, of course. Come on, y'all. Y'all know I'm not saying all American. I'm not saying all of it. Come on, y'all. Y'all know I ain't trying to come for America. I love American women. You know, I don't think these women or those women are better than whatever. I think there are quality women in America. Beautiful, quality women, quality. And there are toxic women that live here. People don't talk about that. There are women who feel like because they're attractive, that it's like, oh, look at me, I'm a baddie, whatever. Even though they live here and they've never left their city or their country, they still have that I'm a baddie, I'm like Ice Spice type thing. So again, it's a lot of stuff that gets misconstrued, exaggerated. It's kind of one of those grass is green on the other side. You know, white people's water is colder. If anybody knows that analogy. It's kind of like one of those things where it's just, bro, you just make more money out here and you're more confident, and the women can see your confidence and they can see that you make more money, and they're kind of like, okay, cool. All right. So anyway, and the same thing in America. It's same everywhere, honestly. And I think it's partially because of social media. I was talking to some girls out here and they were explaining to me how social media and a lot of Americans coming out here has been corrupting the culture in these places, because a lot of the girls and the guys have been seeing how we interact in America and in other first world countries, and it's seeped into their culture as well. Anthony Kondo, thanks for breaking it down, bro. Yeah, my pleasure, y'all. My pleasure. That makes sense because the U.S. has a higher population compared to Colombia. Yeah. So definitely, but I also think it's per capita. Like I truly believe it's per capita. When it comes down to it, I think just overall there are way more because we have levels to it in the U.S. like levels to it. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So somebody said, have you? Oh, y'all asking some PG-13 X-rated questions now. I'm a man of God. Don't be asking me kind of questions. All right. So get back to the tech questions. I'm gonna do two more. I'm gonna do one more because I need to go. I was supposed to have been off this a while ago. Someone said it might be the majority. Brianna says it might be the majority, though. I don't know. Yeah, I do think it's the majority. The majority of women in the U.S. are, just like the majority of men in the U.S. have flaws and issues as well. So I want to be clear. I'm not trying to come for women. It's like men and women, we both have our issues, you know, and we have our things we need to work through. Some of us have things we need to work through. Let me be clear. I'm not saying everybody. So what's the experience like for women expats? I have 6 more years here. You live here now. I mean, you tell us. Do tell. What is the experience like? You've been here. You sound like you've been here longer than me. Yeah. Reed Grantberry says it's culturally accepted. End of story. Yep. And it's the same way in Miami, in Vegas, in LA, in Atlanta. Believe it or not, it's culturally accepted in those places. It's just you have to be at a certain place, and or you have to because there are hotels in the United States that do this. There are hotels in Dubai that are like that. The hotel I went to in Dubai my first time. Again, I didn't choose the hotel. If y'all know my story, I got invited out there with someone. They stole my passport. They chose the hotel, and come to find out, that hotel is the most beautiful hotel I've ever been in my life. But that hotel is basically a big escort ring. in Dubai. And so it was really crazy. Like, it was really crazy. At first, I was like, dang, why these Eastern European and Middle Eastern women, dang, why they so attracted to me? You know, like unusually attracted to me. You know, like Drewski, like, what do you mean by that? You know, it's like, hold up. You know, then you realize, oh, I see what's going on. So anyway, somebody said a certain mindset to know. Okay, you're in the US, 6 more years in the US. Oh, okay, my bad. So yeah, so what is it like for women? It's beautiful for women. Obviously dating out here for women, it's not as easy dating out here for women as it is in the US, because as you can imagine, the income level is much lower here. Well, and it depends. It depends on the lifestyle you want. So income level is lower out here if you want like a provider male. Obviously, guys out here that are successful, have something that's going on, that are expats that are out here, most of them that I've met don't want to deal with American women. I'm not out here because I'm fleeing American women or anything like that. And also, I'm not out here for a lifetime. Like, I'm going to be back in the US. I'm going to be back in the US in 2 weeks. I'm speaking at a tech conference in the US. And I'm going to be moving back soon. So I want to be very, very clear. But there are a lot of guys out here that, like, once they hear an American accent, and mind you, it's not about skin color, because most of the people out here that look like me, the morenas, they're Colombian. And so once they hear an accent or they kind of feel like you're American, and usually they're like, nah, I'm not interested. I'm trying to talk to one of these other girls. Is usually what a lot of the guys are like out here. So dating wise, it's like that. Now, in terms of safety, in terms of safety, I believe it's much, in my opinion, I believe it's safer for women out here than it might be for women in the US. So, and again, that's my opinion. I haven't done any research on that, but I'll say it like this. I'll put it this way. When you're in a country like DR or Colombia, where there is a hyper influx of attractive girls, where the attractive girls also, a large portion of them, like it's a openly sex place. It's like the odds of a man trying to attack you as you're walking down the street is kind of silly, because he could just take 5 more steps and there's 10 girls that he could just say, like, ask them what their prices are or whatever. And they're very attractive girls. And so and again, this is my opinion. It's just, I've looked at it because I've seen a lot of videos of women that have lived overseas, and they're always talking about how safe it is and how nobody comes at them. But it'll be a country where men are told to not go to. And it's like, oh yeah, because the men there might see you as a lick where they'll want to rob you and attack you, whatever. Anyway, I went on this way too long. But there's so much more I can say about this place. All right, I'm struggling to find an opportunity to get experience in tech. I want to break in, but I can't find anyone who will give me the chance. How do you create an opportunity? So when you say, DM me this, I'm going to ask you a question. I need you to DM this to me. And also anybody else that falls in this category, DM me and let me know. So when you say that you're trying to get, you say, let me read the question again. I'm struggling to find an opportunity to get experience. So you say experience, are you saying get like boot camp experience or knowledge? Or are you saying experience when it comes to like an internship? Or are you saying experience in terms of getting at a company? Because the answer to all of those are entirely different. Because obviously, if you don't have any knowledge or experience at all, then I would say definitely check out either our tech sales or QA program, because that'll give you it'll give you everything top to bottom, literally 0 to 100, 0 to help you land a role in tech. If you have done some type of boot camp or you went to college for tech and you're saying, okay, you need some type of help, experience landing a role at a company, then in that situation, I would say just book me for a coaching call. I could see what's going on with you top to bottom, and I could give you like the knowledge and resources and stuff that you need to help out. Again, for anybody that heard that popped in the stream legs, there's always people popping in and popping out. For everybody that wants to book me for a one-on-one coaching call, just comment tech career or career coach. Excuse me, not tech career. Comment tech coach or comment career coach. And I'll send you the 30% off link for either a 30-minute or 1-hour session on YouTube and LinkedIn. Y'all are going to click the drop down. and y'all will see the information for either the boot camp to speak with our career advisors to see which route will be best for you, or the other link that's there for you to book a coaching call with me. How is the tech scene in Colombia? I haven't seen it too much. Like, I know a lot of people out here are in Colombia. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'm a homebody. Even in the US, I became a homebody. Like, I go out most nights. Like, once this stream is over, I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna do like a HIIT workout because I've been getting kind of fat out here. I'm gonna do a HIIT workout. I'm gonna shower up, and I might go out. Even though it's super late, I might go out for like an hour or two because it's always vibes out here. Always like some stuff to dance. Y'all know I like to dance. Or I might just stay in because I am kind of sleepy. I might just stay in, knock some more workout, whatever. That being said, I've been moving more like a local out here where I just be kind of chilling in my Airbnbs. I'll go out a little bit here and there. I'm like, yo, I need to hire a videographer and be on excursions, make my life look like it's super lit and crazy. When realistically, I just work and then I go to like a bar and have some food, have some drinks, dance a little bit, meet some people, whatever, and be like, all right, it's time for me to, go in and go to bed. I've reviewed them. I wouldn't recommend them, that program. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend them. I've reviewed them. Now I'm not saying they're bad, but I have reasons why I would say no to them. But again, I don't want to publicly sound like I'm coming for a boot camp or saying something crazy about someone's program. So I'll just say, just DM me about that and I'll let you know. Cyrus, do you or have you spoken to any high school students since breaking into tech, like at a career day or something along the nature? Yeah, I've spoken at about 4 high schools to either classes or like the entire grade level, like all of the, I was gonna say 7th graders, like all of the seniors. I got invited to go back and speak at my old high school, which is cool. I spoke to all the seniors, and it was super cool to flex and like let them know, like, look, y'all, I went to this school. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I messed up my life. I was broke. I'm in this industry, and I broke down to them how much I make, and I was like, boom, boom, boom. It was beautiful. It was beautiful, and all the boys came up, and it was like, was it just guys? I think it was just guys. Yeah, it was just guys. Anyway, all right, y'all. I need to go ahead and wrap up. There's no way I can get to all these questions. But for those of y'all that you just wanted to hear about the tech career questions and stuff, my apologies for the Colombian sidetrack. For those of y'all that want to hear about the Colombian sidetrack stuff, I don't know. I'm happy y'all were here for it to get to hear some. I'm gonna have some more stories in the future. Some fireworks going off. I want to do something for y'all really quickly and kind of show y'all the view. I remember I did a stream 2 years ago when I moved into my first high rise. And I remember some people in the comments said, come on now, y'all really gonna trust this dude with his green screen background trying to make it look like he in a high rise? That joke was so funny. I grabbed my phone and walked around like, what? It was people who know me, who at the time they saw me glowing up, but they couldn't tell if it was legit or not. And they were like, I was like, whoa, you really live there? And I'm like, yeah. So now it's funny, like, to go from there to the Miami spot to now I'm in another country. There'll probably be some people being like, oh, he ain't really in Colombia. he in Fort Lauderdale. Let me get up. I'm gonna show y'all a little bit of the view. We want to wrap up. I'll wrap this thing up. But yeah, y'all. Now, this isn't the craziest view out here. I want to be clear. There are much cooler areas out here. I've just been hopping around to different Airbnbs. I'm checking out different areas. So I'm trying to determine which area I'm going to do like a long-term rental in. But oh dang, I'm trying to do this on both devices right now. So I'm actually right by the airport, if y'all can see that. So y'all see the planes right behind me. I'm literally right by the airport. It's literally walking distance from the airport, which is crazy. And it's a lot of high rises over here. So y'all can see they're turning it into like a Miami type. where you see it's hard to see all the high rises behind me, but y'all see it's a bunch of high rises. But then you look over here, y'all see the beach. So it's a strip. So right out here, people be running out here, exercising, playing basketball, partying out here. It's like a whole long strip of a beach. So you can already tell their plans are to make this a strip of luxury. Actually, the building I'm in right now is considered a resort. So they're building a lot of residential resorts out here that are all going to be along the beach. So when I tell y'all, like, to buy one of these, like, let's say on average, if you're going to buy something like this in a Miami, and on average in Miami, something like this will probably run you somewhere like if you're getting like a unit, like a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom in Miami, something like this will probably run you somewhere around like 5 million, 7 million, 10 million, depending on the building and the amenities and all of that, and how close it is to the beach. Out here, you could get one of these for like 600,000, 800,000, like a million. Like, it's like, why? And again, I'm not shaming anybody for what you want to do. It's just in my mind, it's like, why would I spend a million or $2 million on a nice house in America where I'm in a decent neighborhood, maybe in a decent city, when I could get something crazy and only be a 2-3 hour flight from America and live on the beach, and the cost of living is dirt cheap to where I can live off. A lot of my friends that are in tech, it's the last thing I'm saying, I'll wrap up. A lot of my friends that are in tech that live in these places that have inspired me, they live off of like $100,000 a year, but they make like 300, 400, 600,000. So they use all that money for saving, investments, building a business, all that stuff on the side. And they live off $100,000, but they live like royalty. They live the way most people think. If you make $100,000, you're gonna live like in America, which you're not. Because when I first started making $90,000, people thought I was lying. They were like, "Nah, you driving a regular car." It's before I got my Benz. I was like, "Yo, I've only been in tech for 2 months. Like, I'm supposed to hop out with a Bugatti." And so, but out here is beautiful because you don't even want a luxury car. You look kind of silly with a luxury car. It's like, bro, who are you trying to flex on out here? Like, it's kind of stupid. So it's like, you either don't need a car, because I'm gonna be real with you. A Uber in America, like, I order Ubers out here. The Uber will literally take me somewhere that's 15 minutes away, and the Uber will cost me $2. Not exaggerated. It's honestly crazy. Like, it's insane. You could go to a luxury restaurant out here that's more beautiful than most restaurants in America. And it's like, you could order, let me give guy math when it comes to dates. Because ladies, shouts out to the ladies where y'all dated a broke dude and y'all paid for him a few times. But fellas, y'all know what it is. You go to restaurants in America and you're on a date, or you even by yourself and it's somewhere nice. You're paying for yourself and it's somewhere nice. Your tab gonna be somewhere on the low end, like $80, $90. On the high end, that joint gonna come up to like $300, $400. I've paid that and more than that before, specifically on dates. Out here, man, it'll be rare that if you have 2 or 3 drinks and you have an appetizer and a meal, it's like, and I mean a real meal, I mean like steak, like good steak. It's like, that junk shouldn't really come up more than like $50, $60 max. But sometimes, depending on what you get, you're gonna walk away and be like, dang, you're gonna look at your bank account and be like, I spent $22. It's honestly just crazy. It's really crazy. So this is the greatest hack. This is my hack. I'm gonna tell y'all. Get in tech. Build your network up in the industry. Maybe maneuver, after you're in the industry, maneuver to 1 or 2 companies where they're cool with you living overseas, or do the VPN thing. Just because your money gonna go a lot further and it'll be crazy. Y'all know Okay, y'all know last year, y'all saw Flex and Cyrus. Y'all saw Aston Martin Cyrus. Y'all saw Lambo Cyrus. Y'all saw I was dropping money last year. So stupid. It's kind of like I got to get it out of my system. Now, y'all, it's mature Cyrus. It's the Cyrus where it's like, yo, I ain't even trying to flex because I've spent it. I've done this. I've done that. And it's empty. It's really empty. It's soulless. You know, the Bible talks about that. And so I've done that. And now I'm like, I got to think long term, especially with everything that's happening in America and the rest of the world. Because even though, again, I'm going to be real with y'all. I encourage everyone to get, if you're not in tech industry, I encourage you to, unless you're making a serious amount of money and your industry isn't going to be disrupted. You want to get in tech and you want to leverage AI. That's why the programs that we have, both the tech sales and the QA, are AI enhanced programs. So you will be at the top of the market. But I'm going to be very real with y'all. I believe we have, most of us, I believe we have about, even when you get in tech and even when you leverage AI, most people, I think we have about a 10-year runway. If that, 10 years before these opportunities are gone. So the name of my game right now is really helping more people get in the industry. But when it comes to me and my family and my future, I'm buying properties in different countries and by beaches so I could like live la vida loca wherever. So if everything hits the fan, if my investments fail, I will have like 3 or 4 properties in the coolest parts of the world. And I'll have some tech investments, all that stuff. But at that point, I could live off of $60,000-$70,000 a year again and live in a beautiful place like this and just be amongst the locals and stuff. And it just be beautiful. It'll be beautiful. But anyway, that's my take. Again, I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all for being here. Hope y'all have a lovely, lovely night. And I've seen a bunch of people have been booking one-on-ones with me since I've been doing this stream. So thank everybody thank y'all for those of y'all that have been booking the one-on-ones with me. I've been seeing all the alerts. So shouts out to y'all for doing that. I look forward to speaking to all of y'all individually. And again, for everybody else who is here on the stream, the 30% discount when it comes to the one-on-ones, it lasts until midnight my time. And it's 11:19 here now. So basically 40-ish minutes. I'm literally about to end this stream. I'm about to work out. This is a protein cookie, by the way. Don't nobody be judging me. Be like, oh, you about to work out with you in a cookie. It's a protein cookie. Judge your mama. Judge your mama. But I'm about to work out, shower up. After that, I'm gonna change the links and stuff like that. So just give me all a heads up. Anyway, love y'all. Y'all have a blessed and beautiful night.